Hey guys, JohnMan here from our Who's Better video. This Who's Better video is Effect Veiler versus Divine Wrath. Now I'll explain their attributes and what they can do and such. First, Effect Veiler is a light, level 1 spellcaster monster who also happens to be a tuner monster. But his attack and defense are 0, both of them. So he's kind of pointless to play, at least on the field, unless you're going to try to synchro with him because he is a tuner after all. So, besides that, its effect is, during your opponent's main phase, 1 or 2 by the way, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard to select one face-up effect monster your opponent controls. Negate the effect, or effects if it has multiple, negate the effects of that monster until the end phase. Now, until the end phase, mind you, and during your opponent's main phase, either one, can you activate this. Divine Wrath. Counter trap card, pretty nice actually, because that means opponent can't trap stun it after you already activated it, because it's a counter trap card. Now, its effect is discard one card, mind you, discard one card from your hand, negate the activation and the effect monster's effect, and destroy the monster. So, you have to discard one card for the activation of this card. Now, besides that, it negates the monster's effect and destroys it. But it doesn't say it has to be on the field. Mind you, it didn't say field anywhere in its text, and I didn't skip any words. So, its effect can be applied to any monster from the hand, field, graveyard, or remove from play zone, because there are monsters that work in remove from play zone, mind you. So, right there, this has at least a few things up already on Effect Veiler. Problem is, it has to be set the turn before, and also you have to discard a card, so it's not going to work really well if you're really low on hand, a hand supply of cards. Not only, really though, Divine Wrath is no different than Effect Veiler because they can both work on your opponent's turn, but also Divine Wrath, you're really only going to activate it anyways when it's already been set a turn before, and the fact is, you're probably going to use your opponent's monster anyways during their turn, so kind of pointless to say that Divine Wrath is really that bad. It's not really that bad. Now, cards these are really both good against are cards like Junk Synchron, Lumina, or naMehTnoJ Stratos. Now, it's kind of pointless to use either one of these two, or I should say Effect Veiler on either one of these two, because they're still going to keep the monster. Now, if you use Divine Wrath on either one of these two, boom, both the effect and the monster goes. Now, Lumina is a different story. When your opponent has to ditch a card to special summon another Lightsworn with her effect, that's a good time to use either one of these, because Naso probably have a very spent a normal summon to summon her, but they're probably going to lose her, just boom. They're going to lose the card and her, so unless they use another Lightsworn for effect to get JD out, then maybe, maybe they just plussed on you. Because now I don't have Effect Veiler or Divine Wrath to worry about, But yeah, still be careful. Spirit Reaper. Be careful on using the Effect Veiler on it, because if you don't remember his effects is, if this card is targeted by an effect monster, spell, or trap card's effect, it just blows itself up, because he can't handle the pressure. There's too much pressure on him, So, Effect Veiler is pointless, because when its effect resolves, being targeting Spirit Reaper, his effect is none of his effects are no longer applied, so he just becomes a token. Now, unless I'm wrong, when he successfully does a direct attack against your opponent and, inflicts damage. If I'm correct, his effect, you ditch one card randomly from your opponent's hand. I think at that point you can activate Divine Wrath, but I may be wrong, but just don't use Effect Veiler and Spirit Reaper because it's pointless. And during your turn when you try to attack, he's going to be still a little wall that's not going to be destroyed. He'll take the damage, but he still will be a wall. Effect Veiler and Divine Wrath, kind of tricky against Light and Darkness Dragon. Now, Effect Veiler, pointless on Light and Darkness Dragon because he's going to negate Effect Veiler. Well, let's say you activate Heavy Storm. His effect chains. You can chain Divine Wrath to him, plus and also can you not chain against it anyways because of he going to negate one card per chain of card effects, but also because it's a counter trap card. Therefore, there's two reasons why you cannot chain against it. So, it's going to destroy him, he's going to blow up, but he still will gain his graveyard effect. Now let's say you have a second Divine Wrath, let's just say you do, and you can chain it to his graveyard effect because this card does not say where the monster has to be. Just that its effect is activating and it can be negated. So boom, Now, Monarchs, same thing kind of in a way. Now, monster's still going to stay, but if they already spent something to summon the Monarch, Effect Veiler is not a bad idea. But let's say they have enemy controller, they attribute it, target a monster of yours that they want to take. Now, since all Monarchs except for 2 effect are mandatory, the effects are going to resolve even if the monster is not there anymore, as long as it's activated. Now, Divine Wrath's going to say, forget you, buddy, you're dead. That's all it's going to be. The Effect Veiler still keeps the monster around. DD Worry Lady, let's say your opponent summons it, you suspect that they're going to try to suicide into your Stardust. This works if it's Assailant too, by the way. Now, let's say that they attack forgetting, the monster's going to be destroyed. They're going to take damage unless they have something else in effect. And you keep your monster because their effects are negated. So, just remember that. Now, Jinzo and Shooting Star Dragon. Both kind of tricky cards. Now, and hard to get around sometimes. Effect Veiler can negate both of these, but Divine Wrath cannot negate Jinzo, because his effect, once he's already applied, he's applied. Now, Shooting Star Dragon, obviously you can be destroyed by Divine Wrath because it's a counter trap card. Also, another thing is that when you negate these, you can use other options to get around them or get them off the field. Icarus Attack, Regeki Break, because he now can't save himself from Effect Veiler, being already negating them, or Compulse. Now, Compulse obviously will only work against Shooting Star, but not Jinzo when he's already on the field, when his effect is in effect of the gameplay. Now, only way to get these cards off the field or stopping them is cards like Mystical Space Typhoon, Seven Twisted the Bandit, or Solemn Judgment. Now, the only way to counteract Effect Veiler is 2 cards that I know of right now, off the top of my head, is other than Divine Wrath, is a card called Debunk. Now, unless I am wrong, and I remember correctly, its effect is when an effect monster's effect is activating in the hand or the graveyard, you can negate it. It's a counter trap card too, so your opponent's gonna have a hard time negating it. So, Divine Wrath and Debunk are the only ways really to counteract Effect Veiler. So there's fewer counters against Divine Wrath than Effect Veiler, or sorry, against Effect Veiler than Divine Wrath. But Divine Wrath blows up the monster and negates the monster, so it's really your choice. But if I were to choose which one, like in the side deck I would run, my overall decision would have to be Divine Wrath myself. But since this is like a poll video, which you get to choose, you have one answer, or that you can choose on, which one would you choose? Because that's what these videos are about. They're also informal, but also to test your knowledge. So, which one would you choose? So, that's pretty much it, guys, and peace out.